Welcome back to Proline. Week 4 Sunday finds the Steelers and Ravens in an AFC North showdown. Interesting situational spot for Baltimore because they played in London Sunday morning and they didn't play well. The good news is they didn't have to extend themselves. That game was over at halftime. I mean, it was they just got killed, much to my delight.
Yeah, me too. The issue there is, Dave, I believe it's the first time a team played in London and didn't get a bye week the following week. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually volunteered to not have a bye week. Now, I think that makes a huge difference in this game. First of all, Baltimore is not that strong on offense anyway. Their strength is defense. Didn't show up last week. Obviously, Jacksonville buried them and scored a lot of points doing it. Everybody bet that game under, by the way, and it flew. Well, it didn't fly over, but it went over. Pittsburgh played ugly. They played down to their opponents all the time. I mean, if they're playing a good team, they play good. If they play in a bad team, they play as bad or worse than the bad team. That's been Tomlin's and the Steelers' character for many years. It's very frustrating for those clubs. The Chicago Bears beat them, ran for over 200 yards against this team. You know, when this game opened up, they made the line 45, the total. I bet it under. And I wanted to give it out. But it immediately moved to 41.5, 42. I'm not chasing that number down. I think it's still an underplay. I'm not laying 3 on the road with Pittsburgh. They're the healthier, more rested team because they played the normal schedule and they didn't have all that travel. However, this is such a rivalry, and these guys play so close all the time. But because of that travel thing that Baltimore had last week and not getting a bye off the London trip, I leaned to Pittsburgh. I leaned to the under, but the only bet I made was under 45, and that number just doesn't exist anymore, and I'm not telling anybody out there to chase it at 41 or 42.
No, you don't play bad numbers. Listen, I went 2-1 last Sunday in the NFL. The 2 winners were Jacksonville and the Bears. And a big part of why I like those squads, I thought Jacksonville had a lot of advantages with their familiarity as far as London goes. But a big part of the factors for both games were the fact that the Ravens and Steelers are playing each other this week. And this is an enormous rivalry. These teams really don't like each other. I mean, that stuff gets blown out of proportion sometimes. It's not here. This is a serious hate match. And I thought both teams might get caught looking ahead, and I very much think they did. I think Pittsburgh was completely flat against the Bears, and Jacksonville just, the Ravens had no interest in that game from the beginning. This is, in rivalries, I generally look to take the points if I'm going to play the game. I have not made a play on this game yet. Whether I do or not remains to be seen. But the only side I would take is the Ravens at +3 or better. At less than that, I wouldn't consider it. So let's see what happens with the line. If there's some value on Sunday morning, I might jump in and take the dog. Otherwise, I'll probably take the game off. I won't play the total because playing into beat-up numbers is just a good way to lose money. Don't chase steam. It's just not a good idea. Let's get Jeff Saad's take on this game from Las Vegas Sports Services. Take it away, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Baltimore didn't play any defense last week in London, but when these division rivals clash, they almost always seem to play tough physical defense. 3 of the last 4 meetings, the scores have been 23-20, 20-17, and 21-14. The Steelers' defense has improved this season, especially in the secondary, and they're on a 20-8 run under the total on the road. I expect a strong defensive battle between these great rivals. Play Pittsburgh and Baltimore to stay under the total. Back to you guys.